Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are here tonight with thankful hearts. Our new leadership in this country is in the process of making America great again. We are thankful for your presence in our lives. We are thankful that we can gather together here tonight. We ask your blessing on this meal and our time together. Amen.
Please join me in our pledges to the flags. First, the United States flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You can be seated. If you were here at our last meeting, all this information that you saw was a prelude of what we were going to see in the next 30 days. Thank you for coming out tonight and being here for the President's Day. We have a president we can celebrate. Let's give him a hand. Just after 4 weeks of being in office, can you ever imagine that he would have filled his cabinet and got them confirmed in this shorter period of time? I think that stands another. And we cannot believe what is happening on Doge. Can you imagine? That means we're all going to get a raise, so enjoy it. Also, can you imagine what's happened on the world stage in the last 30 days? It is amazing. It took Biden that long to figure out where the stage was. So we are proud of what he's doing there. And last but not least, we finally have someone who has the guts to stand up and say, we do not want illegal immigrants in our country. Tonight, we're gathered here as conservative Republicans, and we have a wonderful meeting tonight. I know Debbie very well. I've been to her America Can We Talk, and she's going to lead us in what happened in the last 35, 40 days in her. First of all, I'd like to have some housekeeping items that I want to talk about. First of all, if you haven't put your meal tickets on your table, if you don't have your meal tickets on your table, that's behind your individual badge, you're not going to be able to eat. So, even though you paid for it, you got to have that meal ticket out. Second, you see a lot of name tags tonight that have red ribbons on them. This is in honor of your directors who work tirelessly to keep this club running. And if you see someone that's got a red ribbon hanging down and you want to complain, go to someone that doesn't have it. But if you want to have an idea and you want to share it, we're all open ears, and we want to have the best meeting, the best organization that you can expect to see. Third, the red people who have red tags. If you have a red tag, would you raise your hand? Red tags. Red tags. The letters on it in red. Okay, here we have some back here. Those people are guests. They're here, some of them for the first time, some more than once. But if you get around to see them, talk to them, encourage them, become part of our organization, because it's not going to be the weary who drop off to keep this momentum going. It's going to be those who stand up and fight for our nation and fight for the president to make America great again. Okay, those people who are elected officials and those who want to have recognition, if you would go through this door here, around here, and Debbie will line you up. In the meantime, Ben, do you want to come up here, please?
You'll notice that a lot of people are leaving. Be up here in a couple of minutes, and you'll give them your attention when they come up. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Julie Yancey is in the middle of the Caribbean getting a suntan, and she'll be back next week or so, be back in the saddle. But she asked me to make a couple of comments. We're planning a trip to Austin. It's probably going to be the first week of April or the last week of April. We haven't zeroed in on an exact date yet. You'll be hearing more about that. So if you want to go down and visit the legislature and help straighten them out, we'll be doing that in April. Okay. Next slide. Is that it? I thought there was more. Okay, we'll move on. I've got one other thing. Some of you are aware that the McKinney City Council is moving toward trying to build a passenger terminal on the east side of their airport. There's a group of folks that are working on slowing that down, stopping it, doing whatever they can. If you're interested in working, notice the word work, working and being a part of that group, if you will let Dick Heavey or myself know, we'll get you lined up with the folks and what they're doing. But you'll be hearing more about that in the coming days. There's some things that we're doing behind the scenes right now, but you'll hear more from us coming up. So now, I believe we're ready for the candidates.
Thank you, Ben. Can you, in the back, in the grill, hear us? Thank you. Okay. Donna, Donna?
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Williams. I'm the Collin County Commissioner for your precinct. I'm honored to serve you on Commissioner's Court.
Thank you, Kelly.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Grigg, and I am proud to serve as your new Collin County Tax Assessor Collector.
Good evening, friends. I'm Chris Hill, and it's my privilege to serve as your Collin County Judge. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Gino Rossini, and it's my privilege to serve as Justice of the 5th District Court of Appeals.
Hi, I'm Rich Connolly, Fairview Town Council, seat number 1. I'm running unopposed as well as John Hubbard, Jill Hawkins, and Pat Sheehan.
Thanks, Rich. I'm Jill Hawkins. I'm going to be your new councilwoman for Town of Fairview come May. I'm so excited. My husband and I have been in Fairview for 21 years, and so I'm real happy to serve. Thank you.
And I'm the other one who's getting elected without too much of a horrible campaign. I certainly want to say thank you to all the people who have been supportive of our nominations. And in case you didn't get the official announcement, actually the campaign ended because we didn't have opponents who came forward to challenge us. So we want to say that to you, but how blessed we are to be able to serve you. And I'm the one who actually lives here at Heritage Ranch, so if you have things you want to talk to the town about, I'm your guy. Ken Logsdon has served very well for us on the town council for years, and I'm very proud to be able to sit in seat number 5. Can I say one other thing? I want to tell you all one thing. As we celebrate President Trump and we celebrate what's been going on in Washington, 4 years ago today, we lost, my background was in broadcasting. 4 years ago today, we lost Rush Limbaugh. So tonight, if you will, raise a glass and a toast to Rush Limbaugh, who set the table for what's happened over these past 4 years. God bless.
I'm Jill Willis, one of your state district judges. I apply the law as written, I uphold the Constitution, and I listen to both sides fairly. Thank you for letting me serve you.
Good evening. I'm Greg Willis. I'm your elected district attorney. I get up every day fighting to keep criminals off our streets, delivering justice for victims, and protecting our community. And that's my priority, and it's such an honor to look out for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Heritage Ranch. My name is Sammy Knapp. I'm Constable Precinct 3, and my wife and I love this Republican club. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Clayton. Howdy, everybody. My name is Michael Slaughter. I'll be running for the Precinct 2 County Commissioner seat in 2026, and I'll be here all the way through working to earn your support and endorsements. I've been so blessed so far to have so much support and so many endorsements out of this club. I just love Heritage Ranch.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Kim Lassiter. I am judge of the 401st District Court. Thank you all so much for your support. I hope you know I am already working hard since January 1st, and I wish you all a wonderful 2025.
Good evening. I'm Pam Little, honored to represent you on the State Board of Education. And I want you to know what I'm going to be working on now is to get our kindergartners, our first graders, our second graders, and third graders off of the screens. We've got to limit screen time for our students.
Hey, how are you? Hello, I'm Matt Carpenter. I'm proud to serve as your constable here in Precinct 1. God bless each one of you. Casey is, everyone's asked me, I'm starting to get offended by it, but Casey's at baseball practice with little Colt, but she says hi. Thank you all very much. Howdy.
Larry Little, I'm on the Fairview Town Council, and it's a privilege to represent all y'all. And we're working hard towards the problem that everybody here knows, and hopefully we're going to have a good outcome. So keep your fingers crossed.
Good evening, Heritage Ranch. My name's Henry Lesner. I'm your lame duck mayor. But what I do want to say is I am so proud of the folks who stood up to come on our council. John Hubbard can't be here tonight. John's at a client meeting, but here he sends his regards. We got Rich Conley here. I don't know, did you already speak? Rich is, and then Jill Hawkins. Where's Jill? Somewhere. Okay, well, Jill's here. And then we have Pat Sheehan, who just spoke a little bit ago. So we have great, great people coming in here. I am very invested in this town, and I am so pleased with the folks that stood up to take on some of the challenges that we have. So please give them the support that you've given me, and God bless you.
Hello. You know, there's an optimism sweeping across all of our cities, and I'm brand new, but I just want to stand up, and I want to stand up for great training and good curriculum in our schools. I'm a Christian, and I want to make a difference, and I'm running for Melissa School Board Place 7. I don't know if there's many people from Melissa here, but just if you could keep an eye on me and let people know. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stacy Weaver. Nope, that was too loud. I'm running for Collin College School Board of Trustees, Place 4. Very passionate about education. I'm a school superintendent and prior law enforcement officer, retired. And I just want to keep our schools safe and our kids safe. And just ask you come out on May 3rd and vote. Municipal elections don't get a lot of people out there. We really want to change that this year. So please keep the momentum going, and I will earn your endorsement. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maggie Witt, and I am the SREC committee woman for SD 8. And although everybody else seems to be running for office, I'm running too. I'm running to Austin to knock some sense into those knuckleheads down there.
Thank you, Maggie.
My name is Aubrey Stock. I'm running for position 2 on Lovejoy School Board. My husband Chad and I live in Lucas with our 5 young children, so we are very invested in the schools. I have been serving, advocating, and learning in Lovejoy for a long time. I've attended over 50 school board meetings, and I have a background in education and law, so I am for strong academics and exceptional Lovejoy ISD curriculum and responsible governance. So I hope to earn your vote. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Pamela Saylor. I'm a Fairview resident, and I'm a neighbor. I live right across the street over at Thompson Springs. I'm running for the Lovejoy Board of Trustees, Lovejoy ISD Board of Trustees, position 2. I've got 3 kids. I've got one that's going to be an incoming kindergartner. I've got one who's going to be an incoming high schooler, so I'm going to be here a really long time. So thank you so much. I'm the down ticket. I'm the last person here, so I hope you'll vote. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Pamela. Okay, one thing I failed to do is our next meeting will be March the 10th. And at that meeting, we have Ann Vandersteel, who will be coming to visit us again. It's going to be a unique meeting that you will be able to hear what Ann has been doing over the last couple of years. Second, we have the Lincoln Day dinner coming up, and the Lincoln Day dinner will be on the 29th of March. At this point, we've lost count how many people from Heritage Ranch are going to be going, because Julie, bless her heart, she's in the Caribbean, and she's keeping track of us. But anyway, before she left, we had 21 people signing up. So make a point, go online, look on the calendar. They're both on the calendar. With that, we're going to be served and have a nice evening of dinner.
Start the second half of our presentation tonight. So once again, if we could have your attention, we'll get started with the second half of our presentation. Thank you. Appreciate that. So tonight is this particular assignment here that Clayton asked me to do, introducing our guest speaker, is an easy job. Because I'm going to be introducing to you tonight one of our own, a person who lives right here in Collin County, is a member of our club, and really, as we see it and as you see it, she exemplifies what we call volunteerism. Her devotion and dedication to what we believe to be the cause that we are all here to support. So she very strongly believes in that. She's devoted her life to that and dedicated her life to that cause. So Debbie started out, and she was a litigation attorney in California, back in California. I hate to bring that up, but you know, I did kind of choke up a little bit on that, didn't I? But at any rate, that's where her and Eric met at a large firm there. That's where they married, and they have 3 grown children. So, but fortunately for us, they made their way to Texas. They escaped California and got here to Texas, and we have all benefited greatly from that. For the last 25 years, Debbie has thrown herself into all kinds of volunteer situations. At one time, she was the president of Park Cities, a women's Republican club. And listen, we all know what that can be like. So she handled that job very, very well. She has a talk show. For the last 10 years, her talk show is America Can We Talk? As a matter of fact, Clayton and I were at that, and Mark, we were at her meeting last Friday. Very enjoyable meeting, very informative. We've been to several of her sessions, and I would encourage you, her next session is Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I would encourage you to either, if you can't get down there, to be certain that you see the presentation on TV, because it is available. I believe Rumble is how you pick that up. So now Debbie is devoted to the inherent rules and Constitution of our United States, especially the Declaration of Independence. And those terms, those key terms that we all so dearly appreciate, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, is what she has devoted herself to ensuring that is available to all of us here. And as you listen to Debbie speak and as you look at the things that she's done, when you look at her talk show, the themes of her show deal with border security. That's a big one. The one we saw on Friday at her studio had a lot to do with the local House of Representatives and some of the issues there. But you know, the important thing is that she's one of us. She's a member of our club, has been for many years, her and Eric, and she inspires our people to get in the volunteer game with her. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you our guest speaker tonight, our dear dear neighbor, Debbie Georgettos.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's great to be here, be up on this stage in front of all of you. And I'm setting my timer because they told me I had 2 hours, and I can probably get all my points in that amount of time. Now, what I really want to do tonight, I want to talk about kind of the condition of the Republican Party, where we are and what's happening, especially under Donald Trump. So I know a lot of you obviously follow the news, so you follow what's happening with Elon Musk and Doge and the closing of agencies, losing of jobs. But if you hadn't paid attention to politics until now, and you looked at Washington, you would think, what in the world is happening? Why did this president come in and he's cleaning out government, firing people, ending programs? And so what I wanted to start with is a little bit, yeah, I'm about that too. But I want to do a little bit of historical perspective. I quite often talk on my show and in my speeches just about why America is unique and extraordinary and great. A little bit about America, just historical context that got us here to this point, that made it necessary for Donald Trump to do what he is doing. And so I'm going to start with just America's founding, in that what they did, what our founders did, was change the whole recipe, the whole mindset about what a country is. Because at that time, there were monarchies. Most people accepted, yeah, there's a king and a queen, and we really just kind of are subjects. The founders in America, in thinking through and talking through and coming up with the Declaration of Independence, turned everything over from what world thought was at that time about what a country is, what anyone's rights are, why anyone has any rights, and what those rights are. So America was revolutionary at its time, at the time of its founding, and resulted in a revolutionary war against England, but the ideas they wrote down and they melded them into the Constitution, they made America, from the very founding, unique, extraordinary, and great. And since that time, so that's what America was, and really, really important. And I'm going to interrupt myself to say, where we are now in 2025 is at least as consequential, if not more, than what we did at the founding of America. We are in very, very historically consequential times, and it's hard to appreciate that sometimes. You're living it, you're doing your life every day, and we have elections, and most of us are involved in politics. It's hard to appreciate how consequential what is occurring in America is today. So we had the founding of America, it was a wonderful thing. You know, we launched forth. America was a really, it was from the beginning, it just had the lure of the world looked at us. They think they could found a nation on the idea that people have the right of self-governance, that we're capable of it, we're competent to have self-governance. So America was watched from the time it was formed. And then I want a piece of what has happened in America that got us where we are today is the communist movement. So you had, obviously everyone knows that Karl Marx wrote and Lenin came along and he did what he did in Russia. And I had a historian person talking about this idea that, Lenin thought that the poor working people would just leap up and love the idea, and the proletariat, they're going to overthrow the bourgeoisie, that he thought they'd love it. And the fact was, Lenin figured out by the end of World War I, nobody liked his stupid idea. Nobody. And so they really struggled to define what's, because this was the alternative to freedom, was this communist idea that he had. In America, shortly after World War I, many communists came to America. This is another layer. I'm going to get to where we are today with Trump, another layer of what has happened to our country. So communists came to America, and they looked around and said, we're never, ever going to sell to the American people that they should have a revolution and because you've got to stand up against these rich people, because in America, we really were the land of opportunity. The communist people who came here from mostly Eastern, Western Europe, and they settled into certain areas in America, they looked around, they thought, these people are never going to buy this ideology because there's so much ability, if you're willing to work hard, to make your own way. And so the Communist Party many years ago decided communism only survives if you can get people in society turning against each other. They were not going to succeed in turning people against each other by the economic arguments. They said, okay, you know, we're going to go with racial division, creation of chaos, and there are all sorts of books written about this, but the communist movement in America, one thing they did, y'all have heard that expression, the long march through the institutions? They implanted communist professors at colleges all around this country. And so, you know, do you ever think how weird it is? People were in fact talking about it at dinner tonight. You send your kid off to college and they come back and they hate America and they think communism is great and they hate capitalism. It's like, why would that be? But the communist movement was over 100 years, this long march through the institutions, working to destroy what America is. That was the point of what they were doing, to get people to accept communism. So you have that element happening. And then I want to go to very recent history. Again, we're going to get around to what Donald Trump inherited. You get around to the history of when Bill Clinton came to office. You may remember Bill Clinton said, I think it was like 1993, he said, you know, we're going to reinvent government. It was some stupid slogan he had. But he fired, I believe the number was like 733,000 federal government workers. And you know, the media doesn't care. He's a Democrat, they didn't care. So they fire 733,000 workers, and he's, you know, tooting his own horn saying, isn't this so great? We're reducing government. But what he actually did instead was change many people at the federal level from being employees to be independent contractors. What he did was massively increase the size of the federal government. And I have these numbers, and because I cannot retain numbers, I'm just going to tell you I really can't. I'm going to quickly tell you what the numbers. Okay, 1993, the Reinventing Government Initiative. He fires 377 federal government employees. He's bragging about, we're down to 1.79 million. And then he brings a bunch of people back. So by the time he's done, 9.1 million workers. He's planting the seeds for what we now call the deep state. Massively filling the federal government, just making it massive, and therefore more capable of controlling the people, more capable of being tyrannical. So he makes a huge government. Clinton does that. And then you have, after Clinton, you had Obama come along. And Obama succeeded in changing people's thought. He used the expression about the fundamental transformation. But Obama had the thought that, you know, because of the way he spoke, and it was very alluring, I guess, to Democrats, but he used this expression, all these expressions like, you know, folks just get together and these real palsy sounding as he's culturally legitimizing the ideas of socialism and Marxism. He's making it reasonable and cool and kind of, yeah, you know, we're not really Americans. We're not really into free markets. You know, he just slowly legitimized what was the communist mindset. And he is a communist. I'm a huge student of history. Obama was a communist. The other things he did I want to mention, for example, when I say he legitimized communist ideas, he was only in under 2 years when he got socialized medicine through Congress. Under 2 years. Just think how bold he was. He got there and he's got Obamacare, and people say, well, it's not socialized medicine. It was. It was government control of the healthcare system. He's got that rolling. He's got expenditures rolling to bail out his union buddies. He legitimized, and he also, a big thing people know about Obama, because it gets to where Trump, what he inherited, Obama not only removed, and as in fired or forced to resign, a multitude of leaders at the highest military levels, America's military. He cleaned out the patriot class out of the higher ranks of the military. He forced people out, and he's bringing people up through the ranks who are leftists, and leftists hate America. They hate freedom, they hate free speech, they hate everything about America. So Obama cultivated in the military class, as well as in many, many positions in federal agencies, he deposited leftists into these positions over 8 years. It was a plan, it was a mission, it was not accidental, it wasn't coincidental. He did this, he's getting in place these anti-American leftists in the highest positions in the bureaucracy. And then you had 4 years of Trump, which were great 4 years. We're not going to talk about those much tonight. But then you get to Biden. What Biden did, and it wasn't really Biden, it was Obama's third term. Biden has been senile since long before the CNN debate. He didn't run the country ever. But you have Obama and other string pullers behind the scenes weaponize the federal government against the American people. And I know you know all these stories, so I won't regale you, but he legitimized the idea that in America, we use lawfare to go after the past president. We go after citizens who dare to exercise their free speech rights, point out the 2020 election was stolen, which it was, or dare protest about that. He turned the federal government, which was then massive, filled with leftists, into an enemy of the people, a persecutor of the people. I believe within the Department of Justice and the FBI and the higher echelons of those agencies, these are all leftists who are right on, not all, nearly all leftists on board with this agenda. So you think back to our founding, what a great noble country we founded, our founders founded, and where we were when President Trump was running again in 2024. We have a massive federal government. We have a government that is going after the people in astonishing ways. I mean, tonight isn't about January 6th, but I do a great speech on January 6th because it was amazing the way the law was contorted to allow those people to get many people prosecuted and in prison. I mean, I've had them on my talk show. The stories are staggering. In any case, so Donald Trump, in the 4 years, he has his first term, and then he has, 4 years to think about it, and then he's back running again. Well, in those 4 years, and as part of what I told, when I originally, I think it was like a month and a half ago when I was here talking with your board about doing this speech, I said, yeah, I'll do a speech on the Trump tapes. Let me just ask you, how many of you know what even the Trump tapes are? Okay, a few hands. The greatest thing Donald Trump did, and by the way, I'm going to have a handout, which I hope I have one up here. We're going to have them at the desk, at the table outside. During the 4 years, when Donald Trump wasn't in office, he worked with a group, or several groups, but the main one being the America First Policy Institute. And they spent 4 years. They know everything I just said to you, plus much, much more. And the question was, how in the world do we get America back? We have under Biden, just one example of how radical Biden was and the things that he did. Biden's presidency was orchestrated by people behind the scenes. Biden did not know what was going on. It was all strings being pulled to get after what they want to do, which is basically the fundamental transformation of America. I don't want to go into one of the stories, so I'm just going to tell you this. So what happened in the 4 years was Donald Trump worked with America First Policy Institute and others, and they made a series of tapes. So the handout you can pick up later, it has about my talk show, and then it has on the back the list of the tapes he made, and they're staggeringly fun to watch. So in those 4 years, he made tapes, and he would just stand there, Donald Trump, blue suit, red tie, white shirt, flags behind him, and he would say things like, I am going to dismantle the deep state. Here's how I'm going to do it. He talked, and he would say, I'm going to do this, and here's how I'm going to do it. He went through, countless of wonderful, wonderful policies, what he's going to do about trade, how he's going to fix trade deficits, how he's going to get rid of radical leftist ESG investments, how he's going to stop the warmongering, how he's going to end crime, restore law and order. And he had a plan when he got into office. So he didn't just think this up between his successful election and the inauguration day. This has been a 4-year plan to say we have to take back this country from what the left has done to it. And it was not, it is not minor. It is a massive, massive. In fact, I actually urge you to think about this kind of in terms of we were under attack. America, our freedom of speech. Oh, that's what I want to tell you about Biden before I forget, because this is a central thing about what he thought about the American people and what he thought about our rights. The concept that when Biden was in office, he actually had his Department of Homeland Security announce that they were going to have the Government Disinformation Board. And we're so, I don't know what the word is, desensitized to the lunacy that there were political people who spoke up, but the Biden team, it never occurred to them that the American people would say, and Government Disinformation Board meant they were going to control what you could say on social media, and they were going to track it, and they would decide what was true, and if you said something that wasn't true, you'd be in trouble, you have your social media taken down. This is Orwellian. This is 1984, and it didn't, these people were such far leftists in the Biden administration. It never occurred to them the people might not like this. The people might think we shouldn't be able to do this. There was big pushback, and they did undo that particular board, but at the same time, they kept doing exactly what they said they're going to do. And I want to make that point to say, the ideas of America's founding are what made America great. What Biden and the entire leftist cabal running this country, they're not just Democrats like your grandfather might have been Democrat, or these are radical Marxists who are the head of the Democrat Party. That's what their agenda is, what their policies is, how they behave. That's who they are. Our side would benefit from saying that. These are not mainstream. This is not, within the 40-yard lines of politics in America. This Democrat Party today, they're radical Marxists, and notice when Trump in his first term, one of the best moments he had when he was giving one of his State of the Union speeches, he looked right at Bernie Sanders and said, "And this country will never be socialist." Trump really gets how radical the left is. So he's coming into Washington, he's got a massive federal bureaucracy filled with people who hate freedom, hate America, hate Republicans. That's who he's got to work with. And spending is obviously out of control. The criminal justice system is out of control. And I'm getting around to what Trump had to do when he got there. He made these great tapes. I urge you, I'll play them on my show quite a bit, but he made tapes talking about, here's what you have to do to end this. You can't just tiptoe in. You have to radically fight everything the left has done, this massive transition that has occurred, this attack ideologically and pragmatically on the American people. This is what Trump did. So he comes into office and he does DOGE. And I want to just talk a little bit about DOGE because I think, because a lot of people are upset about it, not me, but a lot of people are. We're going to get to, what I want to finish, I'll just say what I want to do is DOGE and how we're restoring America and this amazing conference I just came from in Europe. I want to tell you a little bit about the Republican National Committee. I actually represent Texas on the Republican National Committee, and it ties to this question all of us need to have is what is our Republican Party going to be after Trump is gone? Because there's the Trumpian mentality, and people say, oh, he's reshaped the party. Oh, when he's gone, though, then we can go back to be real Republicans. I will tell you my view, and by the way, I love political debate. I hope we can stay after. I'm going to stay afterwards, be at your table, hand out my flyer. I'll stay as long as you want for Q&A. But the question of what the Republican Party's identity will be is really up to us, because Trump, my view is, Trump has modernized the Republican Party, and he's made it what it has to be, given how radical the left is. We cannot have the country club rub elbows, talk about low taxes. We have to be a lean, mean fighting machine because the left in America is emboldened to take away the basic freedoms we trust. They are not within the American playing field. So back to DOGE. I want to tell you a few things about DOGE, and I guess I'll start with a quick story, and then I'll regale you with some of the examples, because you probably know them. So we had dinner with some friends recently, and they're not political friends. I did not realize this at the time, but in any case, I said something, and this friend, this lovely person said, the thing is, Trump, he can't do these things so fast. He has to, take it slowly and pick one agency and kind of go through and figure out where their shortcomings are, and then go here, and then go here. And I said, nicely and all this, we're in a nice restaurant, but I just said, he might as well not do anything then. I urge you, if your friends or anyone you talk to says, well, this DOGE is a little extreme, can't we just tamp it back, take it more slowly? The answer is no. The only way, given what I tried to build up about what America is, what's happened to our country, the size of the government, the radical nature of the people who lead these agencies, the leftist, the emboldened leftist mindset, the Marxism that's taken over the Democrat Party, this is a war over the identity of America. It's a war. The left does not. They mean fundamental transformation. They mean more of a Marxist, centralized power government, and they really think you little peasants ought to stop talking about things that they don't want you to talk about. This is how leftists think. And so Donald Trump gets in there. So that was my, my Doge story about our lovely friend. She's not aware enough of the facts of how radical this administration has been, how radical things have been in America. So it does seem like Trump just showed up one day and, got out a tank and started bulldozing things. But it's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's the only way to excise this poison, this evil from America's government. We have to do that kind of thing. We have to be that way. Nothing less will succeed. He's only been in, whatever it is, 4 weeks. And, you have lawsuits, you have people in Congress just beside themselves. By the way, all these Democrats whining and moaning about USAID, did you ever see any of them, whining and moaning about the fact that their open borders had let Tren de Aragua be here and kill innocent Americans and take over the left never complains about things that hurt you, the people. They're complaining with USAID because someone's discovering the scope of their corruption. That's all they're doing. They're complaining about that. But back to Doge. I want to hit some of the things that the truly, I think, sinister, evil parts of Doge, and then just some stuff that's maybe slightly less, it's just bad, but not that. So 2 things that were really, really sinister and worthy of criminal prosecution. And I don't know who can be prosecuted. Some prosecutor in the room can tell me. But when you're using federal dollars going through USAID and paying left-wing media, so BBC, Washington Post, Politico, Reuters are getting your tax dollars, go to Washington, funnel through USAID, and they go to left-wing media. I used to joke when, about how I don't think NPR should be funded by your tax dollars because or public broadcasting, PBS. It's like, I used to joke when Limbaugh was alive, well, if we have to pay for NPR, then the tax dollars should pay for Limbaugh. Let's get the right-wing view out there too. But anyway, back to this idea, that is not just careless, that's not just a little bit irresponsible, this is sinister. This is the left-wing mindset saying, all you people out there, you're gonna listen to us, and we're gonna pay these sources who do not, we know you don't agree, but they're putting left-wing propaganda out there. That, I think, is criminal, and it's not much different than we used to talk about with Russia when they had Pravda. Remember, Pravda was funded by the government and just told the government news. I think that one's sinister. And the other one that's truly sinister, I'm going to read the names of them, is money that actually went directly to terrorist groups that attack Israel. Did you know that? Your tax dollars went to terrorist groups that attack Israel. Went to, I'm get the names of them, $100,000 to a Palestinian activist group whose leaders hailed the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, a designated terror group. Just 6 days before Hamas's October 7th assault in Israel, USAID handed $900,000 to a terror charity in Gaza involved with the son of the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh. This government, I want people to just, politics, people say, oh, politics is sport. I don't like that kind of politics. Republicanism, being active, is being patriotic. It's standing up for right ideas. The left does not support the ideas of America, and they have to be seen that way. Not every single Democrat. I have cousins and friends who are Democrats. They don't know why they're voting that way. They think it's to be generous. But the people who lead that party, the people who write their policies, these are anti-Americans, and we need to treat them and talk about them that way. They're off the American playing field. So those expenditures by USAID are actually flat out sinister. There are others that are massively wasteful. I'll just mention a few of them because I'm sure you've been reading all these stories anyway, but some of them are kind of entertaining. One is a number of people over the age of 100, all the way up to over the age of 300, who receive Social Security checks. I mean, people between the ages of 110 and 119 got $3.6 million in Social Security. I mean, obviously you've seen all these charts. People who are just, now this may not be sinister, I'm differentiating sinister terror groups, manipulating your thought, propagandizing the media, but this is staggering staggering wastefulness. But the other ones that do bear a little bit of attention are just the ones that are so ridiculous, and they are pushing the left-wing agenda in this country. So here's a few. $10 million from Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcision. That's a good use of your tax dollars. Let's see, 2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. 40 million for gender equality and women empowerment hub. We have $19 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal and biodiversity conversation in Nepal. I mean, they have pushing LGBTQ agenda, entertainment, as your tax dollars. These alone justify what DOGE is doing, just going through and cutting these things. But the deeper point I want to get to is, and what I see, what Elon Musk is doing, and what Trump is doing, they really are restoring what America's supposed to be. That's what they're doing. You can't surgically go after one agency and pick a little tiny bit of an expenditure and say, maybe you can cut back here. Nothing less than full bulldozing is called for. And the faster it happens, the better. Because the longer it takes, the more lawsuits that will happen, the more we'll get tied up by some left-wing judge who says, no, you got to keep on paying for, left-handed turtles in Guatemala, whatever the heck it is. These crazy things. It has to be done fast. And I think these cases will end up at the Supreme Court, and I hope the Supreme Court is very firm about the idea. This is the executive branch, and he is executing, President Trump is executing on what he said he would do. I'm going to hit a couple other things about this DOGE thing, because I think it is, I made the analogy on my show, and maybe this sounds a little bit, I'll just say what I said on my show. It's like when the American troops finally had to get in, and they were fighting against Hitler, and they finally made it to the mainland of Western Europe. And they finally, they parachute in, and they're going to get inside. And then they go, okay, we got this far, we're going to stop. You can't, if you have to excise the evil that is what the left is doing, you can't stop at the beaches of Normandy and say, oh, this is great, we got this far. You have to clean out all of the evil. And it is much evil. So I think so I'm going to hit a couple of things I think that you might hear, and I urge you to be ready to respond to. One friend was saying, as I was saying a minute ago, was saying the idea, well, you got to take it slowly. If he took it slowly and took even 6 months to get rolling, it would get stopped. It gets stopped before the midterms. You got to believe the left is going to go crazy in the midterms fighting him. It has to happen faster. It won't happen at all. At all. And even firing federal employees, you can remind them, well, your big buddy, Bill Clinton, fired 733,000 people. He went agency head and 3 layers down, because he was said very wisely, you got to clean everybody out who's in management positions, or else they will continue to fight you. Another one they will say about Elon Musk is, well, he wasn't elected. Okay, neither was Fauci. Neither was anyone associated with the World Economic Forum, to whom the left is happy to surrender power. We didn't elect the World Health Organization people, and we practically gave away our healthcare system to them. Yuval Harari wasn't elected by us. Not just Fauci, but the whole slew of those people, and the CDC and the NIH, all these people who inflicted so much harm on America, we didn't elect them either. This is called the executive branch, and the president's the executive, and he gets to pick people. I mean, I really urge you to stand up for what this idea that Elon Musk is doing. It's bigger than just Republicans won, so we want our guys running agencies. It's cleaning out decades and layers of radical anti-American leftism. You can't get rid of it any other way. So I fully support DOGE. I'm thrilled he's doing this, and I hope you will too. The other things I was going to hit, but I want to mention, by the way, on my talk show, what I'm going to give you out there. On the back, I have how you find all these Trump tapes, which are like entertaining, like you could have a movie night at your house. And then I also, on the front, because people were asking me, how do I find your talk show? So that's kind of the 2 questions I always get after I talk is, how do I find your show? And, how can I help, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But my show is in Dallas, and it's not on a regular schedule anymore, but I send text invitations out. We have a great guy coming in Wednesday at 2, who's going to be talking. He's a border agent for 34 years. Now he's a Breitbart reporter. We have all sorts of great guests on the show. And so this just tells you how to find the show. I even got a QR code, Trump tapes in the back. I do hope you'll stop at the table. And I'm happy to talk about absolutely any topics that you want to get to. But I did want to turn back to my little outline for tonight because I want to tell you about something amazing. You know, in America, I guess, Trump is kind of controversial. Like people say, oh, I don't like Trump, or what they don't like about him. I want to tell you about what happened recently, which was rather amazing. So I was invited to come to Brussels, Belgium, 2 weeks ago as a journalist. And there is a political party in the EU called ECR, European Conservatives and Reformists. And this is made up of people of all 26 members of the EU, all member countries. And these are people who just are tired of the EU controlling their lives, dictating their immigration policy, all sorts of other policies. So they had a conference at the European Parliament in Brussels. I was very blessed to be invited to go and to talk to these people and do interviews, which I did. It was just a tremendous opportunity. And these people, to a person, they were saying, we love Donald Trump. We're so thankful he got elected. He's bringing freedom back. He's giving strength to us. I mean, they were teary talking about Donald Trump. Numerous of them had come to the inauguration. Kristen, my assistant, who came with me, had a Make America Great hat on. I'm telling you, in the streets of Brussels, we only had one afternoon we got free. The conference was over, our flight the next morning, we had one afternoon we walked free, and then people in the street were saying, oh, could I have that hat? Let me take a picture. Can I put it on and get I mean, they were so excited. But back to the conference, I want to just hit some of the high points what these people had to say. They see Trump as this, you know, they see a massive movement, leaving Trump aside, they see the massive movement in this world toward globalism, which includes socialism, communism, Marxism, control of your life. That is one side, and they see the freedom movement, and they see Donald Trump as the head of it. They are doing backflips over Donald Trump. So we interviewed all sorts of members of the European Parliament, members of the various member country parliaments, and they are just ecstatic. And I want to tell you some serious things they had to say, and then we're going to turn. So I have pictures. I sent some pictures of when we were there because I didn't want to stand here and just keep talking 45 minutes, so I'll give you some pictures to look at. But I will tell you the themes they hit over and over and over. Climate change is a communist plot. They just say it. They don't hint around and say, well, maybe it'd be okay. No, they get it. They understand climate change has ruined their lives, has ruined their farming, has ruined their industries, and their policies are controlled by the EU. Climate change, they've had it. And if ever I was here for a different time, I have a lot of data on that, tell you about climate change. Yes, it's a hoax. I mean, yes, climate changes as it has since time began. We don't need to cut out CO2 or limit it. We need to have more of it. I mean, it's just crazy. But anyway, climate change is a hoax. They also say this about immigration. They have an immigration problem in Europe, mainly because over the last 2 decades, their countries have, under pressure from the EU, admitted large numbers of people, mainly from Islamic majority countries, Islamic refugees, who are threatening their security. I mean, one of the panels I went to it was like 4 different people lined up saying, hey, you know, actually, this whole cultural diversity thing, it's suicidal. We will lose our country. So immigration, they're just saying, take back your country, demand the identity of your country, do not let people come in your country and take over to the point, I mean, in Brussels, they are worried they're going to just lose the whole country. In fact, the guy was warning us, you know, within 2 kilometers of where we were talking, Islamic majority area, he goes, I wouldn't go there. You can't go there unless you are, you know, covered in a veil. So they were on climate change, and they were on immigration, and they were also on this whole transgender lunacy thing. And they said, they will say it just like this, transgenderism is a hoax. It's stupid. And there's no such thing. This isn't, and they actually, several of them blamed America. They say, you guys sent this. You're like, yeah, I know, sorry. But they also, they're done playing games, drawing nuanceical lines. No, we're not doing that. In fact, one interview we did with this guy from Slovenia, he was very friendly and very fun to talk to. But we finished the whole interview. He'd written a book. He's telling us about that. But we turned it off. He goes, wait. There's two things I forgot to say. So we turned stuff back on. He goes, number one, there are two genders, male and female. There's an infinite number of mental illnesses, but only two genders. And then the other thing he said is, climate change is like a watermelon. It's green on the outside, it's just money changing hands. People make money off of climate change, and it's red because it's communist on the inside. That's what climate change is. And they were just, and so anyway, I wanted to share all that to say it was it was really enlightening. It was exciting because these people actually understand. They see this freedom movement in the way, I'm trying to check on my time here. Yeah, I have 10 minutes. Okay, so they are really, because they've had more recent experience with communism, they are just under the grip of the EU. They want to throw off the EU. They've got to convince their countries to throw off the EU. They are yearning for freedom, and they see America. In fact, one of the pictures we're going to show you was at the end they had a big press conference of these speakers, and they were just saying, this is a freedom movement in the world. We are and I'm saying all this to impress on you what America was because of everything I said about communists coming in here and infiltrating the culture, and then Clinton building the government up, and Obama infecting it with radical leftist ideas, and then Biden using that government against the American people. We were this close to losing our country. I truly believe that. We were losing the country. So if Trump is a little radical, if he, mows down some agency and a few people, because one of the arguments our friend at dinner was saying is, well, nice people didn't do anything wrong, have lost their jobs. I am sorry. I don't want anyone to lose their job. But you can't excise this poison any other way. And in the private sector, people lose their jobs all the time. Companies close, you got to deal with it. It's just life. We can't say we can't take action. So let me ask you, I've got to ask you again, I lose track. Which one of I know we have two, let's do the pictures first, okay? Okay, and I'm going to talk really fast, as I already have been. Okay, so so this is what the European Parliament looks like. They love the term democracy, okay? We can do the next one. Okay, this guy is Bannerman from the UK. He was one of the original Brexiters. He wrote a book about it, and he was telling the story about how butter kind of drove them over the edge, because to stay in the EU was some stupid rule about butter. You can't call it butter unless it was X%. I don't even know what it was. He just said it was going to shut down our whole dairy industry, and that was one of the arguments. So he was great. These people are very happy. Okay, we can go ahead. So the next person was, okay, I actually better get his name. Okay, he was very cool. He is a guy from Spain, and he's written books about communism, and he used to write them just about how communists were so brutal and people died because of the way the communists, killed their own citizens. And he's saying it's what's communists are today in the way they conduct his name is Alvaro Peñas Lopez. He was awesome. He said communism today is more deadly than what I used to write about. Okay, next one. Okay, this guy is hilarious. He's a journalist, and he was just walking around, and I was interviewing people. He goes, well, I'll do an interview. It wasn't even, but whatever. I interviewed him. He was fun. He was just there to say, yeah, we got to save West. And actually, by the way, a lot of them say we must save Western civilization. Okay, like next one. Okay, this is one. This guy's from Croatia. He's on the Parliament of Croatia. He actually grew up in America for part of his life, so he spoke English well, which was great. But anyway, he was, he's just saying, I said, why are you doing this? He said, because I want my children to live in freedom. We are losing our freedom all over Western Europe. All of this is a fight for our children. Okay, next one. Hey, Dr. Malone was there, by the way. Malone gave a speech about proudly claim the label national populist, no, center-right populist. He said, everything we do, the left comes up with a label. We say, okay, don't call me that, don't call me that. Stop doing that. We can be center-right populist. He was great. He had a huge hint about Maha, but I can't tell you right now, it'll take too long. That's Kristen, my amazing assistant. She's awesome. Okay, next one. Okay, this is the guy from Slovenia, Blanco Grims. He wrote a book on cultural Marxism. He said cultural Marxism in his worldview boils down to immigration, families and children with LGBTQ, and climate change. He said you can't see these as policy differences. They're climate, they are Marxism intended to destroy your country. Okay, next one. Okay, oh yeah, they made a nice thing. Okay, is that it? Okay, oh yeah, so I spoke in Parliament, which is truly amazing. Is this just a picture or is this a video? Just a picture. Okay, anyway, it was really amazing. I did get to speak, and you know, I talk a lot, so it was really easy. They said 8 minutes. I'm like, 8 minutes? So I did. I think we have a video. Is there any more pictures? Okay, oh yeah, look at this. It was beautiful. This is the whole board of people. Mega 2025 press conference, Wave of Freedom coming from America. I want all of us to feel like the wave of freedom isn't just from America, it's the Republican Party. It's our party. It's what Trump is doing. It's not the left, okay? Yeah, yay. Okay, and then, oh yeah, I don't know why, that was another Parliament picture. It was the most amazing thing. These people are they're just so inspiring. Okay, we can go ahead. Okay, yeah, this guy's the head of, I can't even say his name still. It's Matus Moravecki, I think, and he is right now at CPAC. I'm going to call him tomorrow at CPAC and see if I can get him to do an interview. Anyway, he's the founder of ECR. He's awesome. He was great. Okay, next one. Okay, here's our other thing. So the day we had free, the only afternoon, so Kristen and I wanted to get out. Okay, it rained and was cold the entire time. So we get down to Brussels, and of course we're shopping for chocolate, or what else do you do? And so we're shopping for chocolate. This guy right here, he grew up in Nigeria. He was one of the ones that said, could I have your hat? To Kristen, she's like, no. So he did though. We took pictures that he's wearing. He's a chocolate salesman. So excited. I mean, these people, they know who Trump is, and they're saying, thank God the guy is fighting for freedom. That's our chocolate shop friend, okay? And then this guy is from the Netherlands. There was a really famous viral video. His name is Rob Roos, and he was still a member of the Netherlands Parliament. He's not anymore, but he was, and he had an expert there from Pfizer. And this video went viral like millions. He said, did you know before you put this vaccine out, did you test whether or not it'll stop the spread? To which she said no. I mean, he pummeled her. It was the most amazing thing. So I interviewed him. He came back to our hotel in the lobby. We had a long, long talk. He was fabulous, okay? We can go ahead. We did a great interview with him. Oh, yeah, I went to a protest march. Can you believe that? So the other thing that's happening over there was in Romania, they had an election. They have too many parties, lots of parties. So in December, 2 people emerged. It's supposed to go to a runoff in January. And because, as this guy, the guy who really invited me, his name Fabian from Romania, he said they just canceled the election because they could see the Trump guy was going to win. So they just canceled it. So they had a protest outside the European Union. So we went to this, waving flags. That's a flag outside the European Union, just saying you can't just cancel elections, which is what they've done, and they still have not fixed it. Okay, next one. Okay, oh yeah, this guy, we love this guy. His last name was Correa from Portugal. I mean, same message as everybody else. You know, we have to have freedom. Our countries are being smothered. He was just, we love this guy. Okay, that was that one. And then, okay, this is in the restaurant. So we had one meal out the whole time. And we went to this restaurant. We hadn't eaten very much. So we're kind of hungry. So we sat down, big bowl of pasta. And he said, what are you doing in Brussels? We said, well, here for the Make Europe Great Again conference. He sat down with us. He's like, oh, really? So he just sat with us for a long time. He ends up laying out his budget, pointing out the taxes are too high, and all these controls, the EU, and I hate them, blah, blah. So he was a blast. Okay, and then the next thing, so here's what, Kristen had this great idea. Kristen, my wonderful assistant. We had all these people. We would say, ask them if you would say, in English, make Europe great again, and then say it in their own language. So here you go.
Make Europe great again. Rifacciamo l'Europa ancora grande.
Europa grande e forte de novo. Make Europe great again.
Make Europe great again. Faceți Europa măreață din nou.
Let's make Europe great again. Učinimo Hrvatsku opet velikom.
Make Europe great again. Naredimo Slovenijo zopet veliko.
Make Europe great again. Maak Europa weer geweldig.
Let's make Western civilization great again. And let's make Europe great again. And let's make Slovenia great again. Naredimo Slovenijo zopet veliko.
Make America great again and make Europe great again.
Make Europe strong and powerful again. Que a Europa seja forte e eficaz uma outra vez.
First and foremost, make America great again. And when you do that, you also make Europe great again.
Make Europe great again. From Australia.
Make Europe great again. Macht Europa wieder groß.
Make Europe great again. Učinimo Europa znovu.
Let's make Europe great again. Haideți să facem Europa măreață din nou.
America great, make Europe great. Faites grandir Amérique, faites grandir l'Europe. That's all.
Let's make America great again. Faisons l'Amérique meilleure encore. Et voilà.
Okay, I have to tell you, two of those people in there, they weren't even part of the conference. They saw us in the hallway in the big media area, and they're like, I want to do it. I'm like, okay, sure. So they did. We didn't even know who they were. But anyway, we knew most of them, and I don't know, where am I? Can I still play my little video? I can't. Okay, so I was going to leave, I was going to cut off my talk at this, but my assistant thought it was stupid not to at least show you a little bit of the video, so I did speak in the European Parliament, and this is how much I trust her. I have no idea what she sent, so I hope she sent a good part. But let's just quick play this. I thought it might be helpful today because I love the whole MAGA, Make America Great. I love Make Europe Great Again. And I think in both cases, it's just this idea that people actually want to live in freedom. Donald Trump's push to say individuals have the right to live in freedom, and we are going to have that freedom restored in America. So a few things he did I think would just be great if leaders around the world could do. One thing is he spoke very boldly. He did not speak in tepid, careful terms. He called out the left about their control of the government and the foolishness of much of what the federal government does. He called out the media. It became funny at every single rally. He called them the fake media. But he pointed out the media lies to the people all the time. Them right down. He spoke boldly about dozens and dozens of issues in America. So my first point is I think boldness wins the day. I think compromise is pointless. I think negotiating with communists, Marxists, and leftists is pointless. Speak truth. My second point, which is the average person actually does understand. There is an instinctual desire. I think it's a God-given nature of our identity. People want freedom, and they want to know that the government's going to try to protect their freedom. And they are really good. The majority of people are truth detectors because the media in America lied about Donald Trump for 8 years, and mostly it made him more popular. The people can integrity. And I've heard many people here say that the election of 2020 was stolen. Yes, it was. There is zero doubt that election was stolen from Donald Trump. It actually happened to be a benefit to America because people got to see for 4 years how rotten the left is. And, you know, it was a great thing. It actually blessed America. But back to election integrity. There are ways that you all are aware of elections being stolen that are visible. You can see, stuffing ballots and mailing out, 16 mail-in ballots to the same household with one person living there, that kind of stuff. There's also electronic election fraud. And on my talk show, America Can We Talk, I have interviewed many, many experts that explain how electronic manipulation of voter tabulation software is a thing. It wasn't just 2020. In America, it's been going back to like 2004 or so. So as the freedom movement rises in your countries, in the EU, I would suggest you be really, really conscious of our elections being manipulated. America's doing a lot of things to try to, and it needs to do much more, but we've had elections stolen because of our inability to see how they're being stolen. Okay, see this guy right behind me? He's looking my number up and texting me during this, hey, let's talk later. So apparently this person thinks the show is over. I just want to tell you, if you... You're all invited to my talk show. I'm happy to stay outside. And, you know, I am just enthusiastically grateful for what this just resurgence of freedom in America. Our party stands for it. Everyone in this room has a role to play. I was going to tell you all about my show yesterday, or Friday. I have to wait for another time. We had a state rep on the show talking about the situation in the Texas House. I have to wait for another time. Thank you for having me so much.
Thank you, Debbie. You can tell by the applause and by the standing ovation that you are enjoyed. Would you like her to come back again? Okay, just a minute. We have a token of your appreciation here for being here. Here is a certificate. Come over here. Here's a certificate of appreciation to Debbie, RNC Chairwoman for the state of Texas, in recognition of our appreciation for your February 17th visit to Heritage Ranch.
Thank you.
And then, most importantly, here is our famous cup. It's for a coffee cup. And if you've got one already, you can let Eric use that one. So, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. If you would, be sure and put your tags, your name tags, on the table. I hope that you enjoyed the dessert. If the food is still on the table, your dessert, be sure and take it. It's free for you. Good night and be safe.
Thank you.